Next topic is end value management. So EVM or end value management helps the project managers to measure the project performance. It's a systematic project management process used to find variances in projects based on the comparison of work performance, work performed, and work planned. EVM is used on the cost and schedule control and can be very useful in project forecasting. The terms used in end value management: budget at completion, budgeted cost for work scheduled, planned value, budgeted cost of work performed, end value, actual cost of work performed, actual cost, estimate at completion, cost performance index, estimate to complete, cost variance, schedule variance, variance at completion, schedule performance index. So the end value management equations are planned value equal to budget at completion into percentage of planned work, end value equal to budget at completion into percentage of actual work, estimate at completion equal to budget at completion divided by cost performance index, estimate to complete equal to budget, estimate at completion minus actual cost, cost variance equal to end value minus actual cost, schedule variance equal to end value minus planned value, variance at completion equal to budget at completion minus estimate at completion, cost performance index equal to end value divided by actual cost, and schedule performance index equal to end value divided by planned value. And when we calculate cost variance, if it is negative, the project is over budget. If it is positive, the project is under budget. Schedule variance, if it is negative, it is behind the schedule. If it is positive, it is ahead of the schedule. Cost performance index, if it is greater than less than 1, over the budget, and greater than 1, it is under the budget. And schedule performance index, if it is greater than 1, it is ahead of schedule. Less than 1, then it is behind the schedule. Let us example. A project has a budget of $10 million and scheduled for 10 months. It is assumed that the total budget will be spent equally each month until the 10th month reached. After 2 months, the project manager finds that only 5% of the work is finished and a total of 1 million spent. The planned value is $2 million. End value is 10 million into 5%. Actual cost is 1 million. The cost variance is minus 0.5 million. Cost variance percentage is minus 100% overrun. Schedule variance is minus 1.5 months. Schedule variance percentage is minus 75% behind. Cost performance index is 0.5. Schedule performance index is 0.25. Estimated completion equal to 20 million and estimate to complete is 19 million. So that means in order to complete the project, the time needed to complete the project is 38 months. So automatically, this project will take a total of 20 million, that is 19 million plus 1 million which already spent, and 40 months, that is 2 months finished plus 38 months to complete. Just see here, we can able to see 10 million work, it will take 20 million. 10 months work, it is going to take 40 million. So no clients or customer will be happy with this work. So before going to quality function deployment, the benefits of end value management: it will prevent the scope creep, improve communication and visibility with the stakeholders, reduce the risk, profitability analysis, project forecasting, better accountability and performance tracking. Then comes QFD or quality function deployment. It's a focused methodology for carefully listening to the voice of the customer and then effectively responding to those needs and expectations. It was first developed in Japan in the late 1960s as a form of cause and effect analysis, and QFD was brought to the United States in the early 1980s. The average customers today has a multitude of options available to select from for similar products and services. Most consumers make their selection based upon the general perception of quality or value. Quality function deployment is a process and set of tools used to effectively define the customer requirements and convert them into detailed engineering specification and plans to produce the product that fulfill those requirements. There are 4 stages of the development process: design, analyze, development, and full launch. So in order to complete the quality function deployment, a 4 process phase that encompasses activities throughout the product development lifecycle. A series of matrices and utilized at each phase to translate the voice of customer to design requirements for each system, subsystems and components. The 4 phases which I mentioned already: product definition, product development, process development, process quality control. So the overview: design phase, analyze phase, development phase, and full launch. So there are 4 levels of quality function deployment. So the level 1, which provides before that, the effective use of quality function deployment requires team participation and discipline inherent in the practice of QFD, which has proven to be an excellent team building exercise. Where does QFD fits? It fits everywhere. QFD stands for capturing or applying data. How do we define the customer? Who must be satisfied with the product in order for the product to be considered a success? How we can define the customers? The users, those who are concerned with the functionality; management, who is concerned with the financial and strategic issues; distribution and purchasing agents, who are connected with the purchase transaction and availability issues; internal workers, who are concerned with how the product will affect the quality of their work. So, how to capture the customer requirements? We have many requirement elicitation techniques like interviews, focus analysis or focus group, JAD, joint application development, prototyping, form analysis, questionnaires, etc. So here we mentioned the 3 methods, one-to-one customer interview, focus groups, in context, customer visits. So how to prioritize the requirements? So during the prioritization, first consider what is important to the customer. Then consider our current product, competitor 1, competitor 2, our future product, improvement factor, overall performance, and percent. So there are four-phased approach, translating the customer wants into design characteristics, translate the design characteristics into specific components into product process, finally the product process into quality plan. So in order we use the house of quality. So it's a popular assembly of several development hierarchies and tables, including the demand quality hierarchy, quality characteristics hierarchy, relationship metrics, quality planning table, design planning table. So the house of quality refers to a well-known process for product development that is inspired by customers' desires for product or process development and anchored by the capabilities and resources of the organization seeking to meet those desires. It's a process of listening to the customers, translating their desires into a written plan, prioritizing the steps of execution based on what is most important to the customer, and putting a realistic plan on paper. The primary purpose of house of quality: understand the customer needs or understand the customer desires, understand the customer's priority, departmental support, translate the customer desires into goals and technicalities, specify traceable requirements, provide the structure, allocate the resources. So house of quality diagram. The customer specification sections to the left lays out to a specific priority features on which the customer has set focus. The numbers just to the right represent, okay, that will come in the coming slides. On the scale from 1 to 5, so customer importance rating, what the customer wants, target values, technical evaluation, interrelationship, how to satisfy customer wants, relationship metrics, and competitive assessment. See here, given the team has to build a camera. The first action we want to do is to construct a house of quality. So let us have the diagram of the house of quality. First, what the customer wants, maybe lightweight, easy to use, reliable, easy to hold steady, color correction. Automatically we are giving the rating from 1 to 5, like 3, for example, lightweight, customer rating is 3, easy to use, customer rating is 4, reliability like 5, etc. Then comes the second, to satisfy the customer wants, low electricity requirements, aluminum components, autofocus, auto exposure, paint palette, and ergonomic design. Then comes the relationship metrics. That means we are collecting the response from the customers. See here, in each column, it specifies certain responses. So here, one with the black dot, that is low relationship, we given by the value 1. Second one is medium relationship, that will be given the value with 3, and high relationship, that will be given the value with 5. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that 3 we mentioned. So how to calculate? Okay, before that, then comes the interrelationship. That is, interrelationship means between low electricity requirements, how it is been related with other. So in this way, how it is related with the other sections. See here, which we already mentioned, this means 1, this means 3, and this means 5. So 3 into 1 plus 4 into 1 plus 5 into 5, that is 20. Okay, 3 into 1 plus 4 into 1 plus 5 into 3, for example, this is 3, not 5. So 5 is, this is 5, this is 3. So how much we got? 15 plus 4, 19 plus 3, 22. Here 3 into 3, that is 9. Here 4 into 3, 12, plus 5 into 3, 15. 12 plus 15, 27, etc. Then comes analysis of the competitors. That means we are comparing company A and company B with our specification or customer specification lightweight. It gives good, then poor, good, poor, fair and good, good and poor, poor and poor. So that means our product is compared with the competitor A and competitor B. Then finally, to calculate, that is for the technical evaluation for company A and company B, and ours is like the improvement factor. Sales point, the value will be between 1 to 1.5. Overall weighting, failure per 10,000, and panel ranking, that is good, then fair and good, and when we make it complete, so we will get this as the final value. So this is the total house of HOQ, that is house of quality. Benefits: reduced time to market, reduction in design changes, decreased design and manufacturing costs, improved quality, increased customer satisfaction. The main process benefits of using QFD are improved communication and sharing of information within a cross-functional team charged with developing new products. This team will typically include people from a variety of functional groups such as marketing, sales, service, distribution, product engineering, process engineering, procurement, and production. The main bottom line benefits of using QFD are greater likelihood of product success in the marketplace due to the precise targeting of key customer requirements, reduced overall design cycle time, mainly due to a reduction in time consuming design changes. This is a powerful benefit. Customer requirements are less likely to have changed since the beginning of the design project, and more frequent design cycles mean that products can be improved more rapidly than the competition, reduces overall cost due to reducing design changes, which are not only time consuming but very costly, especially those which occur at a later stage. Reduced product cost by eliminating redundant features and overall design. When to use QFD? QFD is a powerful tool that leads to significant improvement in product or process performance. However, it is not a short-term answer to product development problems. The method on which QFT is implemented may have a large impact on benefits derived, and companies should take up QFT only after getting the consent and commitment of the team members. That's all for this topic. Thank you.